let's go down to kind of, we talk about this black holes of the state, right? They're kind of between major cities that maybe you don't pay attention to. Copper's Cove is one of those areas, right around the Killeen area. It's not quite Waco, not quite Austin, right in between, kind of its own little area, right? Syntax. But there is something going on in Copper's Cove right now. And I'm not saying there's something going on to be, like, cutesy and, like, be mysterious. I mean this very seriously. We don't know what's going on.
No.
Here's what we know, okay? So the longtime coach at Copper's Cove is Jack Welch. Jack Welch has been football coach at Copper's Cove since 1994.
Fair to say he's a prominent name in the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Went to state championship games. This is a guy who is in the hunt, okay? He's a well-recognized coach at a prominent program that he helped to put on the map.
Right.
He's been the coach there since 1994. By all accounts, he is not the coach anymore.
Right.
Here's what we know, okay? There are...
Well, I don't know about all accounts. Many accounts.
Right, many accounts.
Yeah.
This is coming from the Killeen Daily Herald,
yeah.
kdhpressbox.com. The byline reads, Felisa Cardenas and Julie Ferrara. I don't know either of them. I'm very sorry, but they wrote a lovely story. Jack Welch is reportedly gone from Copper's Cove, but Copper's Cove won't say anything. They will not comment on what they call personnel matters. The spokeswoman for CCISD said. But parents started receiving word from around the building that Jack Welch's office is cleaned out and the locks have been changed.
Right.
That's a little something. That's a little weird. Now, there's another element to this. One thing worth mentioning: if you heard the name Welch from Copper's Cove in the news lately, it's because the new head coach at Lake Worth is Tracy Welch, his brother, Jack Welch's brother, who has been by his brother's side for 24 years. That's another piece to this puzzle that we really, beyond that, we really don't know anything. Nobody can get a comment from Jack Welch himself. Everyone in CCISD is very tight-lipped. We do not know. They haven't posted a job or anything like that. Matt Stepp, who is like the most connected guy in Texas high school football, can't figure out anything.
Right.
Okay? What we know is that there's a lot of smoke.
Right.
Okay? We just can't confirm there's a fire.
When we have one quote from Welch, right? In all of this, someone dug it up. I don't think it's in the story, but someone had run into him and tweeted about it, and he basically said, the full story is not out there, but that's all I'm going to say.
But here's the other thing.
I'm paraphrasing.
So Wendy Sled is the Copper's Cove ISD spokeswoman. I don't mean to drag her into it, but she's the one quoted in these stories. They did alter the schedule. They are not having spring football. That's another element to this.
Right.
So that, now you can say there's a reasonable explanation to all this, right? Which would be, they just want to have the extra week of two-a-days in the fall, which is what some teams opt to do, right? But this is very, very bizarre because normally we have some sort of information either from the coach himself or from the school district, and here we have none.
Right.
I'll add my own little piece of the puzzle. Jack Welch turned in his questionnaire for the magazine. Okay? So we're collecting coaches' questionnaires for the 2018 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. He turned his in. We have Copper's Cove's information.
Yeah.
But we just don't know who the coach is going to be. And what's interesting to me, and the bigger conversation, I think, here, is that this is seemingly happening a lot. Okay? Most recently, the South Lake Carroll situation.
Right.
South Lake Carroll, if you don't remember, Hal Wasson was put on administrative leave while they did an investigation. They came back with some more, some kind of calm ticky-tack violations that are not good, but are ultimately just kind of slap on the wrist worthy. Hal Wasson ends up resigning. They hire Riley Dodge. Okay? That was a big hullabaloo that played out in public. Last year, there was the DeSoto situation.
Right.
Where the coach at DeSoto, Todd Peterman, was basically, word got out that he was going to get fired by the school district months after winning a state championship.
Right.
There was that. He is now gone, and he's moved on. So he's moved on to Fort Worth Brewers. So my question, Max, is Texas high school football coaching drama increasing? And if so, why? Mm-hmm. Or are we just hearing about it more because this is the media landscape we live in?
That's what I'm starting to wonder, right? Because you and I have both covered Texas high school football on a much smaller scale where you're a little more plugged into schools on a daily basis in your coverage area. Me and Austin and UNDFW. Look, a lot of things like this come up, right? And it's who you can get on the record and who's willing to go public. It seems, and I wonder if this is just a product of the social media age.
Matt Stepp.
Not just Matt Stepp, but people realizing that they could maybe leak something out there, and it's not quoted in a newspaper, but it ends up in a tweet, right? Or it ends up on a Facebook page. And all of a sudden, then the reporters kind of pounce on it, and it becomes a news story. I think that's a big part of it, because I can think of a couple instances where some high drama played out that I was covering, but because I couldn't get enough people to go on the record or give me something I could use before Twitter, right? There was really nothing I could print.
That's kind of the beauty of the Stepp tease, right? Like for those who don't know, Matt Stepp will go on there and he'll say, hey, I'm hearing that so-and-so has hired a new head coach and it's going to be an offensive coordinator from the big country. You know? Something like that.
Yeah.
That's the Stepp tease, where you can't go on the record with who it is, but you can say, here's what we know, things are moving. And so there are more modes of getting information out there, obviously. I also wonder, let me play devil's advocate for you, because I do think that I do think we're just hearing about it more, right? Like, there are things that have been happening all the time, but because we hear about them more, they seem like a bigger deal. I will say this. Texas high school football is increasing its profile. Okay?
For sure.
It is becoming more and more of an industry.
Yeah.
Okay? We are certainly partially to blame for that, right?
Yeah.
We are not, it is becoming more and more of an industry.
Yeah.
And as a result, it is becoming more, I think you are seeing more and more power plays. You are seeing more and more school boards and teams that say, well, if I control the high school football team, then I control the school.
Yeah.
And if I control the school, then I control the town.
Yeah. Well, and I think basically to join both of our theories, in the technology age, you have more tools at your disposal to wield that power.
Yes.
Right? And I think we're just hearing about more dirty laundry than we ever did before. I think there was a lot more, but because communication is the way it is now, there's a lot more sunlight shed on areas that were kept a lot darker before. A lot more people were interested. A lot more people feel like they can have access to it, and I think that's just going to raise the profile. Maybe the craziness of it elevates the crazy of the actual situation, right? The amount of exposure. But I do think that there were a lot of these elements before that you just never heard about because the way that they were exposed required a little bit more research and journalism.
Due diligence. Yeah. It's an interesting situation down there in Copper's Cove. We'll keep you posted. Whatever we hear, whatever we find out.
I'm sure we'll have an answer eventually.
At some point, they're going to play a game, and it's Jack Welch is either going to be on the sideline or he's not.
Or not, yeah.
Or he's going to show up, or he's going to get hired somewhere else or something like that.
Right.
We will get a solution.
Yeah.
But as of right now, and this has been going on for about a week.
Yeah.
A little more than a week.
Maybe more. Yeah.
Stepp has been texting us and telling us, man, I'm hearing weird things out of Copper's Cove.
Almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah. So we'll keep you posted on what's happening down there at Copper's Cove. It's a high-profile gig down there. But that is the latest and more drama in Texas high school football.